Hey everyone, alright. We are leveled off and cruising at 8,500 here, all trimmed out. Thought I'd give you the in-flight cockpit tour really quick. Really what I'm doing is testing my brand new audio adapter. I've always had to record my intercom and ATC audio on a separate handheld, and trying to sync the audio up with the video has always been a real pain in the ass. So I'm finally breaking down and buying little toys here and there to try and make it a little easier for me to make these videos. Anyway, so we're flying the Piper PA-46-350P, which is the Malibu Mirage. People easily confuse this for the Meridian, which is the turboprop version. It's confusing. They use similar names and all that. For only the first, I think, 3 years or so, it was just the Malibu with the Continental 310 horse motor in it. They didn't like that motor after a few years, so they switched to the Lycoming that's in this airplane, which is twin turbocharged and intercooled. So it's actually a very temperature stable engine for being twin turbocharged. It's just very expensive with a lot of things that can go wrong. Anyway, we're cruising along here at 170 knots true airspeed at 8,500. That's our usual cruise just because we're kind of low. It's capable of doing over 200 at this power setting, but you got to get up to 18,000, 20,000 feet to get that. In addition to the audio recorder, I've also added an ND filter, which actually looks like it does a pretty good job of solving the blinking of the screens.
Austin departure, Meridian 280 Kilo Tango off of
Speaking of meridians, let me turn them down a little bit.
Going to Redbird.
So I've got about 5 minutes before I have to start my descent, so let's give you a quick tour here. All right. Pretty nice day out, but we look to have some rain up ahead of us, so we'll have to check on that. Let's see how the ND filter does with the propeller. It slows it down just a little bit, but doesn't totally get away with the blurring of the propeller. And it's nice over here too. All right, from there, we've got all of our circuit breakers here to our left leg and same panel on the opposite side. Checklists.
280 Kilo Tango Squawk 4003.
Our backup instrumentation here. There's speed, attitude, and altitude. Then we've got the G500 suite here. Now, it bugs me a little bit that this is not really symmetrical, but that's okay. Obviously, I have the weather page pulled up here. This just always stays here. One little challenge to this is that the push-to-talk switch is on the yoke, but also all of the controls for directing the autopilot, your heading, course, altitude, all of that is over here on the left. So you can't talk to ATC and change your heading at the same time. It's a little annoying. Give you a brief preview of this. So this is the normal VFR nav page. I can switch that over to traffic or terrain.
How will the approach terminate?
So then we've got weather. Zoom out. Okay, so moving on. Up here we have an old DME system. Don't really use this often, but it's there as a backup. Then we have the engine instruments. So the original engine instrumentation for this airplane is all grouped together. We have manifold pressure, which is at 30 inches, which you'll note, is boosted over atmospheric pressure. Then we've got our RPM. You can kind of see that it's limited to 2,500, so they derated the RPM of the engine to keep it to extend its lifespan a little bit. Then we have turbine inlet temperature, and this particular flight, my fuel flow indication has kind of gone out, so I'm going to have to get that looked at. But that's okay, because I can lean using turbine inlet temperature, which is basically the same as your exhaust gas temperature. And 1,600 is the max, so I keep it just a little bit cooler than that. Below that, oil temperature and oil pressure, cylinder head temperature, vacuum, and your fuel gauges. Now this thing will hold 120 gallons total. And we're only flying 45 minutes each way, so 30 gallons on board to make a trip that I've got 15 minutes left, so not that big a deal. Moving right along, you've got the older Garmin Multifunction Display, which is kind of redundant in this system, but, you know. Then we've got a Garmin 530, which we actually have all of our regular flight plans saved in this thing if I need to file IFR. So we'll have to cover some functions of that later.
Mike Alpha, contact San Antonio approach 127.1.
27.1 for 229 Mike Alpha. All right, let's plug that in. San Antonio approach, Malibu 229 Mike Alpha, checking in 8,500.
Malibu 229 Mike Alpha, San Antonio approach, Roger. E-landing San Antonio?
Yes, sir. Niner Mike Alpha is inbound to San Antonio.
Mike Alpha, Roger. Information Delta is current. The wind's variable at 3. Sky clear, altimeter 2993. Maintain VFR at above 4,500 feet.
At or above 4,500, 0.903. Niner Mike Alpha, thank you. All right. So let's cover how to initiate a descent. Start with the VS button, which is vertical speed. Let's make that, just for starters, 300 foot per minute down. When you push and hold, it lights up here in the top. And then altitude, let's bring that down to our assigned altitude, 4,500. Push and hold, and it's locked in up here.
Direct Gabi, thank you, Charlie.
So this, the flight director, is talking to this KFC 150 autopilot. Now that's the original autopilot that came with the airplane, and doesn't always get along too well, these two boxes. So you have to watch out, make sure that it captures. All right, quick finish this before I have to start getting ready. We've got our cabin pressurization control to the right of the yoke, and the gauge for it, cabin pressure altitude, and relative PSI is the relative pressure between outside and inside, has a maximum of 5.5, and it reaches that at 11,000 feet. So we are, even though we're only cruising at 8,000 feet, we are pressurized, and it's really nice. So we have a cabin altitude of 3,000 feet, because that's what we've got it set at. And, you know, this makes for a much, much nicer airplane. Unlike a lot of the Beechcraft or Piper products, fuel valve is right here. So it's right where you can get it instead of way back off to the side. Landing gear, engine controls, amps and volts. All right, then we've got our audio panel, old KX165 as our ComNav 2 transponder. That's the actual Bendix radio or radar. We've got flight instruments, backup flight instruments over there. Got the control panel for all of our de-ice equipment. Air conditioning, which is a lifesaver in Texas heat. More circuit breakers over there. ELT in the corner, and our light switches up here. So we got all of that. We're descending into San Antonio now, so I got to start getting ready for the approach, and I don't have this camera actually mounted. So I will leave you with a really awesome view of Canyon Lake. Beautiful turquoise water.
119.20.
All right, thanks for joining me. And, I have a full IFR video coming up soon, so hope you had a good one. Catch you later.